You know what day it is? Beware of the pranksters today. I always kind of hated April Fool's Day. I think I know the reason why. It's because I've been part of too many stupid local yokel radio pranks in the past. I've seen them all, and I don't know what it is. But if you partake, it might be fun for you. We'll talk about some of the corporate pranks that happened today, too. More importantly, though, we got Kid Rock in the White House taking on a very important issue. Yeah, I mean that. It is an important issue. Unless you don't go out, you don't see any show anywhere. He got President Trump to sign an executive order and hopefully legislation later on to take on ticket scalpers. Yeah, I think that actually is important. But people are more upset about his suit. Huh? What? More importantly, though, here's today's takeaway. This is the life lesson we all learned. Beware of grifters, especially somebody like Elon Musk's latest baby mama grifter. Boy, get a load of this chick. Holy cow. And you're going to say, well, it's not about the money. Oh, yes, it is. When you hear about this person, right? And we all have grifters in our lives. Believe me, I'll tell you why. And more importantly, hey, it's Tuesday. Thanks for being here. Thanks for finding the audio podcast, too. Wherever you like to get those, also make sure you follow and like Wicked Wisdom Facebook page, YouTube channel, as well as the replay here on X. But let's get right to it, shall we? Kid Rock at the White House. I think, actually, I'm pretty sure this is part of a larger meeting. The big deal in the headlines from yesterday was he was there with the executive order, we'll get to here in a second, about President Trump signing an executive order tackling the bots and the scalpers and the scammers and the ticket prices and the ticket fees that we all go through. But I think there's a larger meeting here, along with Kid Rock. I'm pretty sure Bill Maher is going to be part of this meeting. I'm sure something will come out of that today, and some other celebrity-type, Hollywood-type people. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But more importantly, this actually did happen yesterday. And I've already heard it. It's, well, what a waste. You know, he has all these media opportunities, and what does he do? Instead of taking on something important, he's talking about ticket prices. No. Don't fall into that trap. This is just as an important an issue as anything else. And this is one that everybody can understand. Remember when Trump, during the campaign, this was late in the campaign, heading into the election. Like, I think he announced it in October, might have been September before the election last year, late in 24. No tax on tips when he was in Vegas for the service industry, and how massively important and impactful that was. Because it matters. It doesn't have to be, taking on a nuclear power all the time. This is something that affects all of us in our daily lives. Unless you're a shut-in, unless you never go to a concert, you never go to a sporting event, you never go see a show anywhere, you just don't do that kind of thing. And that's rare to find that kind of person, if you are that kind of person. Unless you're that, you've been affected by scalpers, bots, service fees, and all this other crap. It's ridiculous what we have to pay for these things. And, in fact, there's been a lot of scams as well where people's credit cards or data has been stolen by these things. So, good for him. Kid Rock got the president. He got it in his ear, and he got him to sign an executive order to try to tackle this stuff. Here's what Kid Rock says.
No matter what your politics are, knows it is a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100. By the time you check out, it's $170. You don't know what you can charge for it, but more importantly, these bots.
Yeah.
They come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400% or 500% markup. And the artists don't see any of that money. And, ultimately, I think this is a great first step. I would love down the road if there would be some legislation that we could actually put a cap on the resale of tickets.
That'd be great. Again, why doesn't he talk about something important? That's not important? A big consumer issue like that? It's a massive, massive fraud that he's cutting down on. I think it's fantastic and good for Kid Rock. And Kid Rock said it right there at the beginning. No matter what your politics are, this is something everybody can agree on, right? And they do, which is why the left-wing loonies had nothing to attack him on. Nothing. Because this is a great idea. Because it just is. So what did they attack him on? You might have seen, I'm sure you've seen the video and you've seen the picture, and I just posted it here, teasing the live stream coming up. Kid Rock's suit. So get this. This was the criticism. It wasn't about cutting down on scammers and fraudsters and scalpers with the ticket in the show business industry. No, it was about, he shows up at the White House with a red, white, and blue suit. I think even Peter Doocy said it looks like he was about to get shot out of a rocket or a cannon. And they actually made the jump and they said, Trump criticizes Zelensky for White House visit not wearing a suit and yet says nothing about Kid Rock. Well, first of all, if you look closely at Kid Rock's getup, It actually was a suit, first of all. And secondly, really? You talk about grasping at straws. That's all they have? You're comparing a supposed leader of a country in Zelensky with Kid Rock? I think you got apples and oranges there. That's how you know you've actually done something, and making a move like this to affect consumers that matters, because they have nothing to criticize him on, of course. So they're grasping at straws. There's the mainstream media. There's the White House press corps grasping at something else they can criticize him on. So they found another one. Not related to the first story, but this actually happened too. The Atlantic outfit, the failing Atlantic that was in the news last week for that Signal app message leak where the editor from the Atlantic got in with the Defense Department thing. We talked about that, and it was a big mistake and all that other stuff. Here's the same Atlantic article, right? They wrote an article yesterday that said Trump administration mistakenly deports a father of, I don't know what it was, 4 or 5 or whatever, within an hour. Within an hour, the White House had to correct their article and say, yeah, it's true. He was a father of several children in the country, had been here for years. You know what else he was? An MS-13 gang member, you idiots. So if you're putting any credibility towards the Atlantic, that's what you're dealing with. That's them. Unbelievable. When they have nothing to criticize on, they just grasp at straws. Like Kid Rock's suit and that. All right, here's today's takeaway. Beware of grifters, because wherever you find successful people, you're going to find grifters right behind, a con artist, somebody trying to leech off the success of the successful person. And you may be thinking, well, listen, I'm not a millionaire. I'm still struggling to pay bills every day. I don't have Elon kind of money, so I don't have any grifters in my life. I bet you do. I bet you we all do. And everybody has had successes in their life. Big promotion at work, got a lottery win, you won at the track, you won online sports, something like that. Do you ever notice when you have a big win, even in our little lives, there's somebody right behind who wants to take advantage of it? Well, scale that up and consider yourself like Elon Musk. We talked about her before. Must have been, when did she come out of the woodwork? A couple of months ago, I think, Asley St. Clair. Now, granted, judging or not, Elon's got a lot of baby mamas. I mean, the joke is he's trying to populate Mars himself, right? He's got a lot. How many kids is he up to? Like 13? Little X is the one he seems to favor, and that's the one he's kind of like, taking along with him for the ride. But that's not all of these cases. So whether or not you're hip with that, that's what it is. That's Elon's own choice, or anybody who lives like that. Hell, there's a lot of NFL players, a lot of baseball players that have as many kids, right? We don't judge them the same way. But that being as it is, he's got a lot of them. So that comes along with the grifters. This Asley St. Clair lady had come out, I think it was about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and said, Elon, you're not taking care of me, and why won't you acknowledge me? And I don't know. Let's start with this. Before we get into her action yesterday and why she was making news, by the way, she called in the camera crews herself. That right there should be a warning sign. Let's get to this. Elon posted this out on X yesterday, allegedly, that he has been paying, it's not all about the money, but still, he's been paying this Asley St. Clair, first of all, a payment of $2.5 million and a yearly payment of $500,000. He said, I'm not sure if the kid is mine or not, but I'd be more than happy to find out, but this is what I've been paying her. Right? $2.5 million off the top and $500,000 each year going forward for support. You're hearing that and you're saying, Elon, make me a baby mama. I'm sure a lot of ladies are. Hell, I'm sure a lot of guys are. All right? So I'll set that up and then tell you what she did yesterday. So she, being a grifter, and I mean that a con artist in every sense of the word, oh, but she just wants support. Really? When you sell also the Tesla that he gave you, $100,000 car, you call in news cameras to cover the event, and you make a big deal of it in public. And you're going to tell me it's not about the money? It's not in every case, I'm sure, with these baby mamas, but with her, it is 100% about the money. Cameras everywhere, and even talk to some news.
You can check the stocks. I'm not the only one who's cleaning up after his messes.
I'm not the only one cleaning up his messes. Okay, sure. You've seen the stocks. Okay, there's another reason why this is an absolute con artist, this lady. Good Lord. So, that's the lesson. Actually, a couple of them. The most obvious one in all of our lives, no matter what level you're at financially, no matter where we are, even if you're little folks like us, we all have grifters in our lives. Where there are successful people, the grifters follow right behind. There's also another takeaway on this, and I'd say this. We tend to think, and if you're a MAGA America First voter and you love what the administration's been doing so far, and you think that's this, let's not fool ourselves, okay? We know that there are con artists, and a lot of them getting exposed by Doge in the federal government. But within this MAGA movement or any successful movement, there's a lot of grifters as well. Oh, absolutely there are. Let's be adults about this. Within any political party, anybody that's in power, it's kind of like the successful person example. Anybody that's having success or any group that's having success, there's a lot of grifters within that too. And these are kind of like her, and there's another little clutch of them who got into Mar-a-Lago, and they weaseled their way into all the parties, and she obviously was successful getting to Elon. Wherever you find success, you're going to find grifters too, even within MAGA, you strong MAGA folks. So just keep that in mind. A little quick update on the news, by the way. Speaking of Elon, this reminded me of it. I think this was a radio interview, or it might have been a Spaces conversation on X. I'm not too sure, but it's just audio. And he had said, teasing the fact that today they're expecting some arrests, or at least one big arrest, on the Social Security scam. Remember just the other night when he was on stage over the weekend in Wisconsin, where he said, as it turns out, they don't want Doge looking into Social Security because that's where the scam was. That's where they were stealing numbers, giving them to illegals, and also in many cases selling these Social Security numbers. So he said this about an arrest that's coming today, and I hope it happens. I really do.
In fact, I believe someone is going to be arrested tomorrow.
Today.
This is someone who actually stole 400,000 Social Security numbers and personal information from the Social Security database, and was selling Social Security numbers and all of identification information in order for people to basically steal money from Social Security.
That's scary. It really is. And if you look at that chart that he pointed to again, and his Doge team member, I can't remember the name of the guy. I think Gracias was his last name. Where you look at the amount of Social Security numbers that were handed out during the last 4 years to people that shouldn't have gotten them, and then you realize that some had voted, even more had gotten benefits. Oh, there are major arrests on this. That's why they didn't want him looking into it. And Doge is going into now the CIA offices. Oh, boy. Pray for Elon. That's all I have to say. All right. It's also April Fool's Day. Beware of grifters, sure, but beware of pranksters. I've never liked April Fool's Day. I don't know what it is. I'm sure some psychologist or shrink somewhere can do some sort of a profile on people that don't like pranks, but that's me. I think it's because I've seen so many goofy pranks in local radio. That's my own personal. But I've always thought that pranks are for people that can't be funny in casual conversation. Like they can't, not joke tellers, but like just people who do like observational humor, right? Just people you know in your life that are just great to talk to. Like people who don't have that ability, they do pranks. So beware of the pranks today. That's all I'm going to say. But there have also corporations that aren't creative. They've done a lot of pranks throughout the years. There's a compiled list of some of them. You might remember this one. Remember in 2017, Coke announced that new variety with helium in it that creates a squeaky, high-pitched effect on the drinker's voice. Yeah, this is what I mean about it's kind of like with people who aren't creative. Companies aren't creative either, so they come up with these. You might like them, whatever. It can be fun. So if you partake in April Fool's Day pranks, fine. Have fun. In 2017, Bush's Beans launched the newest bean variety, jelly beans. I'm just not a big fan of these things. 2017 as well, Milwaukee County Transit System offered a nonstop daily bus service from Milwaukee to Japan. All right. 2019, Tinder added height verification to their app. That was actually kind of awesome. Okay, I give them credit for that. That was actually a pretty good April Fool's joke. So a lot of corporations today will come out with the funny stuff. But somebody in the office, right, you never spoke to before is going to do a prank on you or a jump scare or something. So beware that stuff. Again, it's the people who aren't funny in real life, but they love this day. They absolutely love it. I'm not a big fan of it. But I will say this. April Fool's Day has another purpose, though. Like, if you've had some news you need to drop on somebody or a company, and you kind of been regretting saying it, you've been kind of holding back, like you don't know how you're going to break it to them. Just for example, if you were going to quit and just walk out, and you just can't, some dead-end job, and you were going to do that anyway, today might be a good day to do it, because nobody's going to believe you, right? Like you go to HR and you say, look, I can't stand this job anymore. This is stupid, and I'm going to leave. And they'll say, okay, all right, we'll see you tomorrow. And then tomorrow rolls around, and it's April 2nd. They're like, where'd Steve go? I thought he was just kidding when he walked out. So if they're going to throw April Fool's Day on us, make use of it, for sure. All right, but the main takeaway is be careful of the grifters. We all got them. If you're successful, and you know you are, I bet you have more grifters in your life than you realize. Elon has them, and so do you. So beware of them, like this Asley St. Clair lady. And beware of the pranks today, too. But find the audio podcast, Wicked Radio, on there where you ever love to get your podcasts. Also, make sure you like and follow the Wicked Wisdom Facebook page, YouTube channel, and it's always a replay here on X as well. Likes and follows and all that good stuff. Appreciate you as always. Beware of the pranks and the grifters today. And hopefully we'll have some news tomorrow to talk about where they do have a big Social Security arrest. So that would be awesome if they actually do that. So we'll see what's going on as we point out all this ridiculous stuff. But most importantly, have a wicked awesome April Fool's Day. A very good Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.